This week's Switch eShop sale is my favourite so far in 2024, at least concerning budget deals coming in under $10 or your regional equivalents. Now today I'm covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia, and I have a selection of 13 games to take you through. Now if you do enjoy this video, subscribe. We are just 113 subscribers away from 60k, so can you help us get there, because each one of you makes a huge difference. Then later in the video as well, I do have a winner to announce for a $10 eShop gift card, and I do have a 1 more 2 giveaway to enter. Comment down below for your chance to win in next Thursday's video. So just a quick note then, this video is a day late. Got my review out yesterday for Unicorn Overlord. I'll link that down below. The game is just a masterpiece, but it was also a huge undertaking, so it did force me to push this one very slightly. So kicking us off then, Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. This is the first entry in the series. It's a gameplay-rich Metroidvania with a narrative that's going to be tugging on those heartstrings. Now many are going to rank this up there with the likes of Hollow Knight as the best in the genre, and I definitely agree. The combat probably not as strong here, well definitely not as strong, but I do feel that the platforming is better. It's just incredibly fluid and fast. Now it looks fantastic on the Switch. The soundtrack also is stunning, and in the story you are an orphan who sets out to save the forest after a powerful storm sets some devastating events in motion. Then the sequel, Ori and The Will of the Wisps, another masterpiece, one of the few 10 out of 10s in fact I've given here on the channel. I've had nearly 700 reviews. I don't give these out lightly. I think I've maybe handed out 6 since the launch of the channel. Now in this one, we're out to save Ku, a friend who finds themselves in trouble, and you aim to get your family back together and safe again. Runs beautifully on the Switch. Once again, looks stunning, especially actually handout on the OLED this one. And then the freedom in the platforming is just incredible once again. They definitely leveled things up here. Then throw into the mix Spirit Trails, where you can compete on leaderboards, and yeah, this is just a must-own game. It really is as simple as that. Now we've seen both of these cheaper historically, I want to put that out there. They were about $6 a piece, but I would not complain at AAA pricing for either of these, hence the feature today with 67% off. Strange Brigade is coming in then with 80% off, a new low price. Now this game was great when I played it back on the PlayStation, and then I picked it up for the Switch build as well. And now first of all, it's just a really good port. I was seriously impressed. Occasionally I will admit the visuals do take a little hit. There's some very minor frame drops as well in intense scenes, but honestly, really is barely noticeable, and when you're in the thick of the action, you'll definitely be having a good time. I do think this is a steal as well if you want some brainless action with a fun cast of characters. Gameplay then, it's a third-person run-and-gun adventure with a whole lot of environmental puzzles as well, and yeah, overall I'd say it's got that kind of Brendan Fraser mummy vibe. Nowhere Prophet is one of the more challenging roguelike deck builders out there, and I wouldn't recommend it for those new to the genre. However, I did feature this in my top 10 deck builder video, so be pinning that down below. But at launch, I will put this out there, it had a crash issue, so you may see that in reviews. Do know it has since been patched. Now here we're taking on the role of a powerful leader that has to lead a band of outcasts and refugees through a randomly generated wasteland that is packed full of enemies. The story, not great, honestly, but the world wins me over. The interesting bit here is then it features permadeath for your units, and that is going to be basically groupings of cards. It has 300 cards in total, so definitely a lot here to work with. Incredibly detailed game overall, I would say. Definitely, once again, not for beginners, but it is well worth this 91% off, and that is a new low price. Swordship is a reverse shmup, meaning rather than attacking enemies, you're going to be dodging incoming fire and then using their weapon power against each other. The idea here is definitely unique, and I had a lot of fun with its kind of high intensity design. I will note though, it has a few questionable design decisions as well. You know, in my opinion, more than anything, it needed more than high score chasing. It lacks longevity because it's only 5 locations, so something like an endless mode would have been a fantastic addition. Yes, it has a slew of unlocks, but for me personally, it wasn't enough to keep me coming back. So yeah, with this one, I'd say it is fun. Watch my full review first in the pinned comment. Just kind of take a look, see if it's going to be for you. And then right now, it's 60% off, a new low price. Deadcraft then is a game that would really benefit from a demo, as it is such an unusual concept. Unfortunately though, that is not the case. Now here it's a survival game set in a world overrun with zombies, and it uniquely combines elements of farming on top of all of this. Like sure, like most survival games, you farm for survival, but uniquely you can also plant zombies and create an army that follows you, because you are actually half zombie yourself. You can even turn these zombies into different types of weapons. The story, to top it all off, as you probably guessed, is completely out there. It's basically a revenge mission that has you breaking into a central town run by a Mad Max-esque band of enemies. Now I've got a video on this one. I would suggest watching it. It is absolutely eccentric, but I actually ended up really enjoying it. So yeah, definitely consider this one, and if it really tickles your fancy, the deluxe edition may be worth a look too. It's an additional $2, but it actually packs in game expanding DLC. This then, it's a new low price with 65% off. The Pale Beyond gets a new low price of 50% off, and I reviewed this one on the channel as well. You can find that in the pinned comments. Now this survival game is set in an era when boats were the primary mode of transportation, and in the story, the Viscount and its crew, they embark on an expedition to find the magnetic south but mysteriously disappear. Now 5 years later, you find yourself aboard the sister ship Temperance, and you're setting out to discover what occurred. It is a menu intensive survival game where your goal is to keep the crew alive after disaster strikes. Game just excels with its fantastic cast and world building. Making decision making here is incredibly challenging, and yeah, you'll face the threat of mutiny, sickness, and death. These are all very real concerns. So yeah, this one definitely not an easy game, but definitely worth your time. Now then, Rebellion have put the entire core Sniper Elite collection on sale. They all get 75% off, and that is a new low price for each of them. The core idea here is to locate a target, enter a sandbox location, work your way towards said target, and then take them out, which is actually depicted in this glorious X-ray vision that is absolutely brutal. What makes them unique though is they can be as simple or difficult as you want them to be, thanks to factors like bullet velocity, distance, and wind. All of these become a factor. It is very cool stuff. Now the second game, that's actually the first on the Switch. It's set in the traditional World War II scenario where you can go after Hitler. The third keeps the period but takes the action to Africa. Then the fourth, that's the most recent release. We are on a mission to liberate Italy. All three games are great fun, but my personal favourite gotta be the second entry. But if you do play them all, you're definitely gonna see improvements as you move from one to the next. Finally, from Rebellion, they took things way out there with the Zombie Army Trilogy. If you're fed up with the more, let's say, realistic approach, you should look here, because you're going to find the same gameplay formula, but instead you're going to be taking down zombies. This one's only stumble, I gotta say, is that it relies a little more on close quarters combat, and the series is not particularly fine-tuned for that, nor famous for it. Still a great time though, and given the fact it is a trilogy of games, you're getting a lot of game here for your cash. It's also then 75% off, and we've actually seen the follow-up for this as well, released on the Switch, Zombie Army 4, another fantastic port like all of these, and I actually featured that in Saturday's video, but if you did miss it, it's currently 70% off. That's around $15 or your regional equivalents. Esper is our winner of the week then, who highlighted Slay the Spire and the huge number of hours they've spent with it. Congrats on the win, email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. Our final games of the video then, No More Heroes 1 and 2, they've both gone on sale, and now we never see this live in all regions at once, and this time it is for US and Canada only. Finally though, we're getting a new low price here with 50% off. This is actually a price we've seen a few times now in other regions, so I don't know why it took so long to actually get here. Now these games, in my opinion, first of all, easily worth full price. They are action games that just pick this great if immature sense of humor, and the story remains the same for the most part. Basically rise through the ranks of the world's best assassins. It's a league essentially by overcoming different boss battles. Now the first features an open world which asks you to raise entry fees by completing some unusual jobs, let's say mowing the lawn or catching coconuts. And yeah, some love this, others not so much. I'm personally one that can take it or leave it. Then the second game actually does away with this. It removes it entirely and it focuses on that core combat, and that combat is just incredible through both games. It's kind of basic with a use of motion at times that adds to the immersion, but yeah, I think the characters are fantastic. The boss patterns get really creative, and overall I love Travis Touchdown, the lead character, love this world, and these games will always come highly recommended from me. And that is the video down. Incredible week this one, some real heavy hitters appearing in this sub $10 category, which is just always great to see. So let us know in the comments, are you going to be adding anything to the library? With that then, a shout out to the patrons and the channel members who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.